Yo, it's Elut. Welcome back to the channel. I've been asked a few times to update my branded list because I haven't made a profile since January. And we're coming up on April now, so yeah. This is what I've been running for the most part over the past month or two. Definitely some changes to talk about and some theory things I just want to discuss, that sort of stuff. So yeah, let's not waste any time. So obvious stuff is obvious. 3 Alubur, duh. 3 Albaz, duh. No nonsense here. Standard stuff. Really don't need to discuss that all that much. I hate playing 2 Albaz. And as much as I want to cut Alubur to 2, because I don't like normal summoning him a lot of the time, and bricking on normal summons in this deck is like the worst thing. I'd still just rather have my Searcher. And then the 1 Quem and the 2 Cartesia. I've thought about bumping Cartesia to 3, and I've thought about bumping Quem to 2. And the main things keeping me from doing that is I don't think you need 2 Quem. I really don't. I'm not saying there isn't any merit to playing Quem at 2. In fact, Quem and Cartesia are my favorite cards in the deck, period. I just think they do a lot of the coolest things. But going second, bro, Quem is not the play. Quem is not good going second ever. And I don't want to open Quem pretty much ever. And then Cartesia, I could see it going to 3, but we are still playing 3 fusion deployment, and I don't want to open a bunch of normal summons because I hate those moments of you open Alubur and Cartesia, and it's just one of those things where okay, well, if I normal Alubur and get impermed, the rest of my plays might be cooked, depending on what's in my hand. I'd rather open Alubur and Fusion Deployment, but having the second Cartesia absolutely comes up, so I'm not just going to play 1. But yeah, it's just standard, same as pretty much always. Again, I love playing 2 Quem. Part of the fun with the Synchro build was playing 3 Quem because it is your best normal summon. But here, I don't think 2 Quem is worth it with the risk of drawing it and all that sort of stuff. I don't think that's where its strongest application is in this deck. But anyways, still on the 1 Stratadragon, I've been seeing more and more people play 2 to 3 of this guy. Honest to God, I just need to do more testing with more than 1 Shroudion. The thing that's weird to me about that is I understand some of the theory, and I like some of the theory, and some of it I don't like the idea of. So for one thing, is opening this card nice? Yeah, I mean it's just Upstart Dragon, that's nice, But the idea of opening more than 1 of him is scary to me. I really don't like that. Because branded just occasionally does have consistency problems, and while this in a vacuum adds to consistency, opening more of it will lower consistency, and I feel weird about it right now. I don't have enough playtesting experience to say for sure one way or the other, but for right now, I'm just on the 1. If he's in my opening hand, I want to be happy to see him. You know what I mean? I almost don't want to ruin that by playing multiples, because that can be kind of weird, but it's something to think about. I'm not totally one way or the other on it right now. I have to do more testing. The 1 Merc, you only need 1. The Tragedy, Tragedy's great. I've also thought about bumping up Tragedy. That'd actually be okay. I'd be kind of down for that, but I haven't done it as of yet. I'm not trying to micromanage too much, unless I know for sure about certain ratios and things. And then our brick is the Ad Libitum. I freaking love this card. I've always loved this card. And I don't play the puppet, so this is my choice brick, if that makes sense. You definitely can play both puppet and ad lib. I'm not a fan of that as much, playing more than 1, but I do think you need at least 1. If you're not playing ad lib, I think you should be playing puppet or vice versa. I just think you need a very clear sort of power card for when you get to go first. If that makes any sense, I think you should play at least 1 of them. But I talk about the puppet enough. I hate it. But anyway, and then the 2 Bestials, the Saronir and the Lubellion. I don't want to see more Bestials in my main deck. So I'm just keeping with the standard stuff. I have been running like 1 mag and 2 Druids in my side deck, just because sometimes they kind of cook. Magnamut can get you 2 engine pieces if you would like. And it is, like, Branded already has kind of a good matchup into Voiceless Voice, I think. But Bystial's just, like, hurt it even more, which is kind of funny. So I think they're good side cards, but I don't want more of them in the main deck just blindly right now. I don't think that is super worth. So that's all the monsters. And then the 3 opening, the 3 fusion, of course, and the 3 deployment. I really don't have to explain these, do I? I mean, come on. I don't think I have to explain those. Pretty obvious. The 1 red. The 1 white, because I am a based individual. White is so freaking good. Another perk, I think, of playing like the 3 Shroudion is branded in white. And if I were to do that, just theoretically, if I were to bump Shroudion to 2 or 3, obviously I'm going to keep playing branded in white. I love this card. But it would definitely make sense for me to put Borreload Furious back into the extra for that reason. It would just be so easy to do that. So anyway, just another thing about the whole 3 Shroudion thing. The 1 High Spirits, this card's nice. I will usually side it out going second. But it's nice. It's nice. I do like the card a lot. The 1 Lost, of course, and the 1 Retribution. One of engine requirement cards. But branded in white, dude, I still love this card so much. I do think more people should play it. Just the fact that you can play around Ash with this, you can do quite a lot usually. Just keep in mind you will be playing into Bell instead. Something to note. But also just like using this to make like a Guardian Chimera going second is nice, and you don't just banish all of your materials all at once. With like branded in red, or if you don't have a target engraved for red or whatever, that can be kind of cool actually. It is technically a thrust target, but I'll be honest, usually this isn't the thrust target, but just having that option I think is pretty cool as well on top of the other stuff. But branded in white is so cool. So cool. I love that card. The Foolish Burial, because I think it just still has a place. Honestly, I sometimes like I'll swap in Gold Sark as well. And if I were to keep Gold Sark, I would definitely bump Tragedy to 2, I think that would just make sense. But I don't think it's necessary if you're only running like 1 Tragedy, 1 Mercurier. It's just not quite there for me in my head with those ratios. But Foolish Burial is so generic and so nice that I still like to play it. And then the 1 Called By, of course, you know, Called By is crazy. And then we are not playing any hand traps in this build. So we are on Board Breakers, we're on the Droplets, and the Super Polys. So the thing about Super Poly, to me, is like, if someone plays around Super Poly, then that kind of is what it is. But if they don't, then this card absolutely cooks. And Droplet is, right now, Droplet is so nice, dude. I can't even lie, Droplet is so nice. Like, the format before Phantom Nightmare, when we were still in that, like, very diverse sort of state, and, like, everybody's playing everything, Droplet felt really weird to me, honestly. Like, sometimes it would be nice, and sometimes I'd just be like, man, this card's so mid. But right now, especially going second, like, this card is so sick. With all the hand traps running around, if they ever, like, Valor or Imperm or whatever, like your Alibur at the start, just sending it for cost for Droplet is so sick. Like, that's actually so nice. I like it quite a bit, and it still has applications going first, which is also nice. Same with Super Poly. Super Poly is, you know, applicable in both going first or going second. And if you decide that, you know, I'm playing against someone smart who's not going to play into Super Poly anyway, you can swap it for something else. It can just make more engine for you as well. You know, we are a fusion deck, so I actually really like both of these at the current moment. And then the Thrust package to top it off. This should be a 43 card deck unless I cannot count. So we have the 3 Thrust, the 2 Talents, and the Duplication. So originally I was running 1 Talents, 3 Thrust, 1 Fusion Dupe. I just kind of decided, like, I wouldn't mind seeing Talents more in my opener, even going first. to be honest. Like, because if you are going first and you don't see talents, you're not going to see talents. Because thrust just won't, like, you just won't do it. It just makes no sense. But I wouldn't mind opening it and thrust. Like, that can be kind of insane. So I bumped it to 2 for right now. And I've been liking it. Again, like, I want to see it more in general, but I don't want to see it too much. I don't like playing talents at 3, like, pretty much ever, because when it's dead, it feels so bad, and when it's not dead, it feels so good. So I'm running it at 2 for right now. So yeah, that is the main deck that I've been running. And then the extra is, I think, identical for right now. I've talked about the changes that I would make. Like, if I decide sometime in the near future that, like, whoa, 3 Shroudion is crazy, and then I can swap, like, Borreload Furious in and stuff like that. But for right now, it's just the same stuff that I've been playing for a little while, which is 2 Albion, 1 Lubellion, 2 Mirror Jade. I'm not a fan of 1 Mirror Jade. I think that's, like, kind of weird, bro. Honestly, that's kind of weird. Not worth. This is, like, you're pretty much usually best extra deck card. And I want to have the second one. And then the Sanctifier. Yes, I don't play the Puppet, but Sanctifier is still great. He's your out to big board breaker cards, like Evenly. If you do happen to see them, he is a 3K beater that cannot be targeted, and he cannot be used as fusion material, which is super underrated, actually. Just not being a non-super polyable extra deck monster is kind of sick. Sometimes he can be pretty annoying for the opponent. So I still find it worth it to play Sanctifier for the time being, even if you're not playing the Puppet. And then the 1 Rindbrum and Titaniclad, they're both still great. Titaniclad's my man. I talk about him a lot. He's so cool. And then Rindbrum is mostly the Grave Effect. But he's cool. The 1 Granguignol, I've also thought about, like, if I completely took out Super Poly, right, then I could take out the Mud Dragon and the Garura. And then I would definitely play, like, I'd probably play, like, Borreload Furious, and I would maybe put in a 2nd Granguignol as well. I don't think you need the 2nd Granguignol, but it's nice. It's nice. But, you know, I do think 1 is generally fine. Like, I don't get into these situations a lot where I'm like, damn it, I really need that 2nd Granguignol. I just find that doesn't happen all that much. But it could be cool in the future, you know, if things change or whatever. The 1 Quertus to cheat out for Granguignol. Quertus is sick. Lulu is not. And then the Masquerade. I love this freaking card, dude. I freaking love Masquerade. Decks with a lot of steps also really hate him. He's so cool. I love him so much. So play the Masquerade. Also generic Despia fusion target. You know, that sort of thing. The Super Poly Boys, or as MBT calls them, the Blowjob Brothers. The Mud Dragon, the Garura, and Stapelia. But as I always say, Stapelia is kind of engine anyway. This is a great thing to make off Branded in Red. If you aren't going for the Guardian Chimera, which is the 15th slot. So I do like all of these. Mud Dragon is nice. Garura, even if I don't go into Garura for whatever reason, it's still something you can send to the graveyard with Granguignol, get a free draw. And you can do some fun stuff with that, which is part of the reason why I like Branded in White so much. Because if you, like, let's say you get ashed on Branded Fusion, right? But you got to White, or you had White already or whatever. If you can still get to Granguignol and dump this or just something random or whatever and Branded in White with an Albaz to still end on a Mirror Jade, that's kind of nice. It's got a couple different applications other than Super Poly. And then these two are pretty obvious. I don't have to explain them all that much, I don't think. But yeah, just in case you were curious about what I've been running recently, there you go. There you go. So thank you for watching. Let me know if you have any questions about anything. Peace out and take care.